Colorado Office of Attorney Admissions would like to remind you that professionalism during the bar exam, thank you ladies, during the bar exam professionalism is expected at all times. Do respect the gravity of the event. We know you're under stress. We know you're studying up until the very last minute, maybe not sleeping the night before, but please read the instructions carefully. Make sure you know what is required of you before you get to the test day. It'll make things a lot less tense. Courtesy is important at all times. We try to be courteous. We expect you to be as well. And patience, please have patience with us. This is a big event. It's difficult to coordinate all of the moving parts that go along with getting the exam together. And we have nearly 1,000 people who will take the bar exam this July. So we've got a lot of things that we have to do to make sure that everything comes together in a nice, cohesive fashion, and so that you're not aware of the chaos going on behind the scenes. So we appreciate your patience, and we will try to be patient as well. We have a lot of rules for the bar exam. Most importantly, we've got to protect the integrity of the exam. The exam's given over and over again every year. Your scores need to mean the same as the scores for somebody next year who takes the exam. So your 276 passing score will mean the same as a 276 achieved by someone 10 years ago or 10 years from now. So part of that is protecting the security of the examination. And that is our primary goal. We're trying to make the exam fair and efficient for everyone, but we do have these rules. We've got to account for all of the test materials at all times. We have to know where your test booklets are in the room every minute of the test session. So that's why we get a little strict about what you can and can't bring in and what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. The admission badges are scheduled to be mailed on Wednesday, July 6th. You will be mailed an admission badge if you're cleared to sit for the exam. You should log into your CivicCorps account, application account, and verify your seating now. If you're marked for computer and you intended to handwrite or vice versa, you need to notify us right away. Once we print those admission badges, everything's in place. If you decide not to take the exam on computer and you registered for computer and didn't change your seating, you'll be seated in the computer section. So we can make changes, but we ask you to verify now to be sure you've signed up the way you intended to. Also, verify your mailing address. We will be mailing the badges to the address we have on record in your application. If your mailing address is changed, log into your account, select Edit, and change your mailing address. Let's see, if you're not cleared to sit for the exam, you need to go into your documents section of the application and review the documents. Look at the status of each document. You need a photograph that has to be uploaded to your application. Reminders were sent out to everyone. June 20th, which is Monday, is the deadline for photos. Those photos are going to be used to identify you at the examination. They should be uploaded as a JPEG or a JNG or whatever it is, thank you. But if they're in PDF, we're converting them for you. So just get that photo uploaded and make sure it's been approved. If it's not, you need to get another one. Failure to upload your photo could result in a delay in an entrance to the exam. It could preclude your admission to the examination. The 6 documents that must be approved in order to be cleared to sit for the exam: your authorization and release, your statement of verification, your ethnic survey, your fingerprint card, your photo, and your law school graduation certificate. Admission badges will not be mailed to those persons who are not cleared to sit for the exam. And you may be required to pick up your badge at the office at a later time if you don't get your application complete for taking the exam prior to the day we mail the badges. Review your documents section again and look for the application documents that indicate a status of not submitted, insufficient, or awaiting originals. Awaiting originals means you need to mail in what you uploaded. Insufficient means the form or document does not conform to the criteria as described in the doc info section of the documents, required documents section of the application. Law school certificates, we usually don't get those until around the end of June. It takes time to record each and every certificate in your application. So the law school may have sent your document, but we may not have gotten to logging it in yet. Don't panic. We are aware we have deadlines in order to get you cleared to sit for the exam. And while it may appear that nothing's happening in your application, truthfully, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and you just need to give us some time. There is no need to remind us that we have a deadline. Badges. If you haven't received your badges within 2 weeks of mailing, verify your mailing address, contact our office, and we'll arrange to issue a duplicate. We don't like to issue duplicates, so we want you to wait and make sure you give the mail time to be delivered to your home or address that you have on file. The venue. The Denver Merchandise Mart is where we'll hold the exam. It'll be held in the Expo building. The address is, of course, up there on the prompter, and free parking is available. You're going to be testing in the Expo building. This is a nice picture of it. I don't know how well you can see it. But you're going to enter through the dock entrance on the east side of the building. So you'll park in front, and you'll get out and walk around to the east side. And we'll have the doors open there for you to come in that way. There are no previews of the venue, so don't come out the Monday before hoping to get a look at the room. We won't let you in. If you show up, we'll turn you away. The MART personnel also will turn you away if we're not there. Personal belongings. No personal belongings are allowed in the test room. We will have a separate area to drop off those materials, purses, backpacks, computer cases, and so forth. There are a lot of things you're not allowed to bring. You only bring what you need in order to take the exam. The area may not be secure where you're going to leave your belongings. If it's not secured, you definitely don't want to have valuables. And even if it is secured, we recommend that you not bring any valuables. Minimize what you bring so there's less for you to worry about. That way you don't have to worry about anything being stolen or lost or left behind. When you get in the test room, when we allow you to enter, the tables will be laid out, seat numbers will be laid on the tables. Your seat number will be, for the most part, in numeric sequence. There may be some individuals who have been moved to a different location for some particular reason. And if that's the case, then your seat number may be out of order. But we have floor plans, and the proctors will be able to help you locate your seat wherever it is in the room. There are restrooms inside the test room, and so there'll be plenty of time to use those restrooms before we actually take our seats and get the test started. Drinking fountains, of course, are also available inside the test room. During the exam sessions, you're going to come in. We're going to ask you to take your seats. You must stay in your seats during all oral announcements and instructions. You are permitted to take 5-minute breaks at any time during the test sessions. If you take a break, you must secure your exam materials with a proctor. The proctors will be located throughout the room in various areas, so it'll be easy for you to drop your materials and pick them up on your way out from the restroom and back to your seat. If you do take a break, no talking to other examinees, and we expect everyone to be in their seats the last 5 minutes of the exam. At the end of the session, you must remain seated while we collect your test materials. Again, we have to count all of the exams. You must stop immediately when time is called, stop writing or typing, and that can be an ethical violation if you continue to type or write after time is called. There are no early exits, so if you finish the exam early, you are permitted to take a break, but you will not be permitted to leave the exam room until everyone is dismissed. When is it cheating? Any willful violation of the rules or instructions, copying, whether it's copying something from the test book onto note paper, or whether it's trying to copy someone else's exam answers. note-taking, writing or typing after time is called. And a reminder to computer test takers, your keystrokes are recorded, so you need to stop immediately when we call time, or there's a recording of how long you continue to go. There are logs that we look at after the exam to make sure that you've complied with that requirement, so do pay attention to that announcement when we call time. And really, is this cheating, bringing something into the exam that you're not permitted to bring? We have all kinds of reasons for why we don't allow certain things. It may seem to you that it's ridiculous. It may seem to you that it's overzealous on our part, but we have 1,000 people, or slightly under, and we've got to pay attention to each and every one of you. And again, we have to protect the security of the exam. So we've got lots of things that you can't bring in. Any contraband that you come into the test room with, and you start the session and you've got it on your possession, that's considered an attempt to cheat. And we will confiscate the item, and we may dismiss you from the exam, depending on the circumstances. Cell phones are absolutely prohibited. Everyone carries a cell phone in their pocket, and everyone forgets to remove their cell phone. So we will be reminding you all the time, don't forget about that cell phone. Do not enter the test room with your phone. That's a big one. We'll take your phone, we'll send it to the national conference in Madison, Wisconsin, and we'll ask them to inspect it for any security violation. And we can't guarantee that you'll get that phone back or that it will be in one piece. So again, just pay attention, remember to remove those things from your pocket and put them with your personal belongings. Also, cheating can be talking to other examinees. It may be an innocent comment, but don't do it. All of the improper conduct, rules, policies, and procedures are detailed in the exam schedule. An announcement was just sent out in the Civil Corps application this morning. The exam schedule has been posted. Please review it now. Make sure if you have any questions about anything that you check with our office ahead of time. Don't wait till the first day of the exam and show up and expect us to make concessions. We expect you to read those instructions, and we expect you to comply. Again, the consequences for cheating, intentional or repeated violations of any policy or procedure will result in dismissal from the exam. You'll be referred to the Character and Fitness Committee for review of your moral and ethical qualifications for fitness to practice law in Colorado. Your career depends on this, so take it seriously. Fashion police, this is always fun. We're trying to give you a list of things that you can and can't wear. We have a long list of what you can't wear. Try to use good judgment. We have to tell our proctors to be strict about what you can and can't bring into the exam room and what clothing is acceptable and what is not. And they're required to make a judgment call. And if they have to make a judgment call, they're going to err on the side of our office, not on the side of the applicant. So think about what you're going to wear, plan ahead, make sure you dress in layers. No sunglasses are allowed. Don't be a Justin Bieber. No hoodies are allowed. No hats. No watches, no wristwatches, no watches on necklaces. No sweaters or jackets with pockets. No cargo pockets. This is tough for some of the guys, but honestly, find a pair of plain khaki slacks or a pair of regular blue jeans. But those big pockets are real problematic. And sometimes what we have to do, since we really don't want to turn you away and we don't have spare clothing for you, we'll let you in and then we have to stop you and check your pockets every time you get up from your seat. You don't want that. It just adds to the stress and it's not worth it. But we have to do that. We're required to. Remember to dress in layers. The temperature may vary or fluctuate throughout the day. Read the clothing restriction list over and over again if you have to. The restrictions are for your benefit. It's so we don't have to bug you during the test. We don't have to stress you out. But again, our mission is to ensure security of the exam. For those who are taking the exam on laptop, the registration closes on July 13th. Registration for laptop has already opened, And again, it'll close on the 13th. You should have received an email by now telling you that an account has been created on the ExamSoft website. You go into that account, you log in using the username and password that they've sent to you in the email, download your software, register your laptop, and complete the mock exam. There are several steps to the process. Some of you may have done this for law school. You have to do it again for the bar exam. It's a different version of the software, and it's updated specifically for this July exam. If you haven't installed the software, you'll continue to receive the emails. Or you may continue to receive the emails because you did part of the registration process, but not the entire process. If you keep getting those emails, there's a problem with your ExamSoft registration, and you need to log back in and make sure you've completed all the steps. If you have any questions, the best option is to contact ExamSoft first and talk to their tech support people. We can help you with some things, but they're the best equipped to answer most of your technical questions. If you change your email between now and the time of the exam, let us know. Send a message through your application portal. We've got to take some extra steps to notify ExamSoft independently of what you tell us. So it's important that you bring that to our attention. And we're getting hundreds and hundreds of messages every day, not only from you folks who are taking this exam, but from folks who just took the February exam, folks who are trying to apply for next February, and we have OnMotion applicants that are sending us messages daily. So we have hundreds and hundreds, and it's important that you communicate with us so that we can catch all of these details, that if you have a change, we need to know about it. And the email is especially important because any software updates that ExamSoft sends out are going to go to the email address that you registered with. So we want to make sure they've got your correct contact information. You get one download of the software. If your computer crashes after you've done the download and you need to get a second download, you'll have to clear it through our office. And there are some steps that you'd be required to go through in order to get permission to do that second download on another computer. If you have an old computer or one that is malfunctioning and you're getting nervous about taking the exam using that computer, contact us. We'll change your seating. If it's after the seat change deadline, then we'll make some alternate arrangements and see if we can't at least get you the writing packet and get you seated in a place. We try to get you into the writing section, but it depends on timing. And invariably, someone will have a computer problem after badges have gone out and after all the seating has been assigned. So we'll do what we can, but again, just contact us and we'll do whatever we can to work with you within reason. Know your device. Don't come to the exam without having checked your computer. We have had people bring in a brand new computer in a box. It hasn't even been opened. We had a lady show up who hadn't looked at her computer for a couple of days, and when she got to the exam, her 3-year-old had removed half the keys off the keyboard. So check your computer equipment before you come, the night before the exam. Just take a quick look, make sure everything is where it needs to be and all the pieces are there. And if you're buying a new computer, get familiar with it well before test day. Don't wait until the night before to try to get all set up. Again, if you don't have the software downloaded, then a new computer the night before the exam isn't going to do you a lot of good. But just take these precautions, and again, if you notify us in advance, we can try to work with you. We don't allow any wireless devices in the computer or in the test room. So if you have a mouse and you want to bring it, it has to be corded. We don't allow peripheral keyboards, corded or wireless, and we don't allow mouse pads. So we want you to bring just your laptop, and again, if you have a mouse, make sure it's corded. Read all the instructions, get familiar with the computer information that's provided on our website, and just be as comfortable with the process as you can ahead of time. We will have a handout at the exam when you arrive on exam day. There'll be a piece of paper with pre-exam instructions for those using a laptop. and that will contain the password you need to launch ExamSoft, and it will have detailed instructions, step by step, what you need to do before we actually start the test. If you run into a problem, a technical problem during the test, we do have engineers that are trained with the ExamSoft software, and they will be at the exam to help you. We will provide everybody using a laptop with an orange flag. It's just a plastic flag on a little plastic stick. And that'll be at your seat, and you use that if you need technical help. Raise it high in the air. Make sure they can see you. It's a big room. You're all seated on the floor at the same level, and it's sometimes difficult when you're standing on that level to see somebody. You know, your arm gets tired and you put your elbow down and your head goes down, and pretty soon nobody can tell you need help. If you're not getting the attention you need, raise it higher, wave it, stand up if you have to, but make sure that you get our attention. And we're watching the entire time, so it's not going to be much of a delay, but it is a long walk across the room. We only have so many engineers, so just be aware. If you have to get up from your seat with your flag to get the attention, you can do that. You're allowed to get up, so. Most issues can be resolved pretty quickly. If it can't, we'll have a writing packet handy. You get the writing packet and you start writing while your engineer continues to work on your computer. And what we'll do is we'll have you report that problem on a trouble log, and then we'll look for your partial typewritten, partial handwritten answers. It's important if you have any technical problems that you report them to us so that we can, when we inventory your exams, we can make sure that we've accounted for all pieces and parts of your answer, regardless of where they may be. On the end of the Tuesday session for the laptop, you'll make a backup using a USB drive that you bring with you. So you don't need it on Wednesday or Tuesday morning. You will need it Tuesday afternoon. So don't worry, we're not making backups in the morning. The software backs up everything every 10 seconds or so, and so there's usually no problem losing exams, but we encourage you to make a backup at the end just to be sure. It's one added precaution in case something should happen with the exams that are on your laptop computer. Now, when the exam session is over, you're going to go home or to your hotel, and you're going to log into the internet, and your exams are going to upload. They should automatically upload when you turn on your computer or when you click on the icon for ExamSoft. If they don't, then double-click on the icon to open it up and select the option for uploading your exams. But typically what it does as soon as you connect to the internet is the software engages and does the automatic upload. There are instructions that we'll post to our website as well about uploading your exams. So if you do have trouble after the test on Tuesday night, there are some instructions that you'll be able to refer to for help. Inclement weather. Well, we hope we're not going to have inclement weather in the summer, but you never know. We will do everything within our power to make sure that that test goes off on schedule, on the day it's supposed to, at the time it's supposed to. Sometimes there are problems with weather that cause delays. If there were a major delay on the freeway, for example, we might do our best to try to hold the session and start it 10 minutes late or something. So we try to be reasonable about making sure people are there, but we also are very strict about staying on schedule, and we'll start and stop on time as to the best of our ability. Announcements for the morning sessions begin at 8 o'clock. So we'll open the doors on Tuesday at about 7:15 for laptop test takers. 7:45, handwriters will be allowed to come in. The morning sessions, instructions begin at about 8. The test sessions run from 9 a.m. test time to 12 noon test time, and then again from 1:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. We do have countdown clocks that will give you the time remaining on the test session. We'll also give you some verbal warnings of the number of minutes remaining in the exam session. And when we're finished, you must stay seated while we verify all of the materials. We've got to count and verify every test booklet. It takes a little bit of time, but we've got a pretty good system worked out. And if everything goes smoothly, we'll have you out of there just as quick as we can. In the afternoon, 1:15 is when we start instructions. 1:30 to 4:30 is the afternoon test session. And again, we'll collect the materials. We ask that you remain seated during that time while we inventory everything. On Tuesday morning, try to arrive early, find your parking place, use the restrooms, remember to breathe. Just give yourself an extra 10 minutes to sit in your car and just relax if you have to. Try not to be rushing and rushing through the door at the last minute. It just creates more stress for you. The doors, again, will open at 7. You'll drop off your personal belongings, come in, read your instructions, follow the instructions, and set up your laptop. If you're handwriting, all you'll do is come in and find your seat and wait for us to start the exam. So that's easy. Tuesday is your essay exam, the multi-state essay examination. You'll have 6 questions to answer in the morning. It tests on general principles of law. Answer lengths are limited. If you're computer, it's a character limit. If you're writing, it's a page limit, and those are outlined in the instructions. We will provide writing pens to everyone, so handwriters will get 2 pens, and the laptop test takers will get 1 pen. Those are pens that we provide. You're free to take them with you when you leave. That's your souvenir, but you can't bring your own personal writing instruments into the test room. On Wednesday, we open a little later. There's less that we have to do, so we'll open the doors about 8, and we begin the announcements approximately 8:30. And again, the test sessions will run from 9 to noon and 1:30 to 4:30. What we provide, we're going to provide you tables, chairs, and power if you have a laptop. We'll give you writing instruments. Pencil sharpeners will be available on Wednesday. We'll have countdown clocks in the room for you to see. You'll be able to see the number of hours and minutes remaining during the entire test session. Scratch paper will be provided in your packet. We will provide earplugs, and we will provide tissues. So don't bring those things with you. What you provide, your admission badge, your government-issued unexpired photo ID. That's usually a driver's license or a state-issued ID. We could accept an unexpired passport as your picture identification as well. Clear plastic baggie, sealable baggie that you can carry your snacks in. There's not much more you'll need to bring, maybe some eye drops, maybe some sort of medication. All of those things are permitted, but they must be in your baggie. Food must be unwrapped. We don't want extra paper. So if you bring chewing gum, you have to unwrap the little foil wrapper because you could write something on it and take it out of the exam, and you might inadvertently do a copyright violation or something. So we have to be very careful about that. And the proctors are going to be looking at your baggies, and they're going to ask you to do some things that seem to you ridiculous, but we're trying to be consistent with everyone. So, plastic beverage bottle, resealable bottle. It has to be clear. We have to be able to see through it, and you must remove any labels. So, for example, a water bottle that has a label, you have to take the label off before you come to the test room. Again, dress in layers, sweaters with pockets, sweatshirts with pockets, hoodies, all of those things can be problematic. So try to find clothing that doesn't have a lot of pockets, and particularly your jackets and shirts. Pants are a little tricky. Bring a seat cushion. We'll allow a seat cushion. The pocket requirement, your typical pair of blue jeans with the form-fitting pockets are fine. We can tell if you have a wallet or a cell phone or something in your pocket if they're form-fitting pockets. But when they're cargo pockets or they're big pockets on a jacket or they're sewn in the lining of your jacket, we can't see those pockets, and we don't know what you may or may not have in them. And rather than worry about it or put somebody, a proctor, to watch you in particular because you're wearing the wrong kind of clothing, we ask you to try to conform to those requirements as much as possible. And our proctors try to be reasonable, but they don't work here. They don't do this job every day. And so for them, this is going on the instructions they've been given, and sometimes it's difficult for them to make the distinctions of what's allowed and what's not. Try not to argue with the proctors, try to comply with what they ask you to do, and if there really is a significant concern, ask to speak to a supervisor and we'll see what we can do for you. You don't need these things in the exam room. You don't need to bring them, you don't need them to take the test. You don't need your cell phone. You don't need your car keys, your sunglasses. Don't bring big wads of cash. We can't be responsible for it, and you won't be allowed to have it in the test room. Credit cards, don't bring them. Tissue, don't bring little travel packets of tissue. Wallets and purses are prohibited, and you don't need internet connectivity while you're taking the exam. So these are things that sometimes we think we have to have, but remember, we're going to provide you what you need to take the test. Leave everything else at home if you can. Again, credit cards, wallets, purses, there will be a place to secure your personal belongings so that you don't have to bring them in the test room. But again, try to minimize what you do bring. If you forget something, you can't remember what the instructions said, or you didn't quite hear the oral instruction, we're there to help you. We're going to remind you, but know the do's and don'ts in advance. Pay attention to the oral instructions. A lot of this is going to be repeated over and over again, but it's because people get in the zone and they don't hear what is being said, or they forgot what they read last night. So we'll help you remind you if you're starting to break a rule. We'll be right there to guide you back to your seat or whatever it is, but try to be as familiar as you can with all of the policies and procedures before you come. If you're not sure, ask. We're there to help as much as we are to secure the exam. We also want it to be as stress-free as possible for you. Think about whether you need it to take the test before you bring it. If you bring less, there's less for you to worry about. If you comply with the policies and procedures, it's going to be a smoother exam for you. It'll help us do our job better. Less stress for you means greater chance of success. And again, remember to breathe. That's the most important.